Welcome back to the Dumb, Naked, and Broke podcast. I'm your host, Emmanuel Wisdom. I'm so excited about today's episode. It's a special one. Not only is he the first guest on the show, but he's also my homie, my brother, entrepreneur, CEO of the Life brand. I give you the ever elusive Shameer Reevey. Welcome to Dumb, Naked, and Broke podcast. Today we have my brother, my homie, Shameer Reevey in the house. How you doing, brother? Oh, definitely, man. It's an honor having you on the show. First guest. I'm glad it's you. We're getting to that stage where we kind of go far back now, which is a good thing, and building on the relationship.
I mean, yeah, sometimes it's crazy how, like, the people you meet, you never know what you can get from them. I mean, that's why I kind of be changing I try not to be, we was talking about, like, in the pre-show, like, as far as me being, like, not giving people your all or giving people certain characteristics of you, like, but sometimes that can work against you because you don't want to come off as not approachable.
Right.
You never know who you can meet. So, I mean, the way I met you, like, the source, how I met you from, it's a weird situation, but it's something I'm never gonna forget.
Yeah, man. All that matters is what we're doing now. But even like the circumstance we met in, that was like that was actually back when I started freelancing. And for me, for some reason, my introduction into things are always a little bit higher than what I've expected. So like when I started freelancing, I'm not sure if I told you the story before, but like my very first freelance project was with the NFL Alumni Association, and I was like, this is crazy. If I'm starting here, imagine. But
man, like,
yeah,
the way I view you is like, like you, like, you so busy. Like, it's weird. You're the first person I ever had to like I can't just call. Like, just like, bro, I gotta set an appointment to call you. I'm like, yo, and this love to me, and it motivated me. It's like, yo, that's crazy. I mean, it just like, yo, this guy, he's really like organized, and I salute that, the way you carry yourself. It's like, yo,
appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. I'm trying to be, and same goes for you, man. I always hit you up a couple times beforehand just to make sure, because I know you always got a few things going on as well. And that's kind of like the beauty of it. I think is, for me, is the excitement lies within the opportunity, and and so chasing the opportunities, that's where all of the fun is for me, and the outcome is just the bonus. So regardless of if it works or it doesn't, I'm gonna, if it works, then that's great. Move on to the next one. If it doesn't, I'm gonna, go back to the drawing board and figure it out, and apply those lessons. That's just the mindset. But I'm also trying to move. And the one thing I guess that impressed me the most when we met was, you meet a lot of people who are, going places and doing things, and like you say, seem busy or fake busy, whatever. But it's just like the attitude, man, like how you treat people. It's like, it's from, a perspective of love, in an area of love where you understand, whereas, there's, more room at the top of where I'm going than, me just, stepping on other people to get to where I'm going. There's no need for all of that. And then those are the people, that I gravitate towards. And because for me, opportunities, like they come out of nothing, man. It's like I don't really gotta do much. Not that that I have any sort of special skill or anything. It's just because I put that time and relationship into the people in my circle, and I see you doing that too. You're more out there in terms of social media and all of that. For me, I'm more working, and then I drop something and I go quiet for a minute. But you've been, doing the thing with the Life brand, and you have some other, side projects as well. But before we dive into that, I want to talk a little bit about COVID and how that has rescheduled or have you kind of shift a couple things on your plate as far as some personal stuff and stuff for the brand? How are you adapting throughout this COVID?
Man, if anything, it messed my momentum up because for the other stuff I was working on, more personable like projects and everything outside of the brand. Like I was building stuff for myself, like help define my character more, so people could tap into the brand. You know,
Right.
it kind of messed up my momentum, but also, I mean, it's kind of like a lose win. You kind of win in a sense because we got nothing but time on our hands. You know,
Mm.
we got nothing time but to plot, plan, and strategize. That's it. I mean, so after this, it could just like majority of the world is worrying about going out partying. Not me. I'm like, I mean, my thing I love outside of my brand is working out. That's the only thing that I'm
Right.
upset about, the gym not being open. But other than that, it's like regular day life, man. Being able to network, being able to go do a podcast in person, and
Yeah.
be able to, like and just get things done. So that's the only thing that it kind of tampered. But other
Mm.
than that, it's more time to apply, plan, and strategize, man. Honestly.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I had a hard time adapting to the fact that, like, I didn't notice at first, but what I was doing was going out and grabbing inspiration from being out and being in nature and interacting with people and all of that. So initially, for me, adapting to just being working on computer day in day out and staring at multiple screens, that was kind of draining. So I had to find a way to work around that and put out content. And for a while, I had a show temporarily on hold and some projects on hold. I stopped freelancing, and I was just focused on work. And then but at the same time, I feel like we got to allow ourselves some time to kind of take in the meaning of the situation and
Yeah.
what it means for us internally, like you're saying, reflecting and strategizing and planning the next move. I think there's opportunities in every adversity. With COVID, it's a blessing in disguise, and I know
Yeah.
there's a lot of family and other people that have been affected in a negative way. But for us who are moving strong and gonna be around, um, after all of this is said and done, it's up to us to tell that story and make sure we tell it in the right way.
Man, most importantly, like you said, man, it's about family, man. Like, it's most important thing is family. Is pointing out the what matters, you know, because this beyond our control at this point. I mean, there's higher ups that if like, we can't control. So
Absolutely, absolutely, man.
just listen. It's a law. We don't control the laws, so we just gotta abide by it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So now that you're home and everyone's home, how have you been working out and getting in those necessary reps that you need?
In the house, man. I got the pull-up bar. I don't know if you can see it in the back on the door.
I see, I
Yeah,
see.
so I'm
Yeah.
doing pull-ups. It ain't the same though. I like being around the energy of the gym and then looking around. Might see somebody that's bigger than me, or that's more cut than me, that motivate me in the midst of working out. So just being in that workout environment, it sucks. And I've been running and everything. So, but man, just being home. I mean, just doing the basics, with the calisthenics and everything. Is sticking away with the weights and everything. So
Yeah, I think a while back I saw you post on your Instagram story like a workout session at like a park or like a playground or something.
yeah, man,
It was a while back. Um,
until they shut the parks down, man. Now they open, but like in the parks, the workout, some parks that got the workout stuff, like the pull-ups, the dips, they yellow tape them. So
mm,
one day I just came from work and then I went down there and I seen all the yellow tape. It just messed my momentum up because like straight after when the gym's closed, I was just in the park. Man, it's might be better, you know, for my body anyway. Stay away from the weights and stuff. So, but then when they closed that down, I fell back for like a month and a half. Then they just opened them up like a week ago. But yellow tape in certain parks. So
Yeah, man. That because when I saw it, that motivated me to doing some stuff. So I started doing some push-ups and sit-ups and other stuff. But for me, I've never been a gym person. I've never taken on that persona. Maybe in a couple of years, but it's still good to stay active and all of that. Speaking of staying active and moving around, I could also call you. I would also call you an entrepreneur because I see you out there doing your thing, networking and hustling and making it happen and creating a brand for yourself, which is speaks to a lot more than a lot of brothers out there who are just trying to make the money and not trying to flip it and follow that passion and that purpose and kind of add to the life that we're living. And like when we initially chatted, we chatted about the fact that it was amazing that your brand was called The Life, and it embodies everything about life, the ups and downs, and this is a perfect scenario with COVID and you adapting and moving forward and telling a story or making this situation part of the story, as far as fitting into your brand and being real and telling a true story. But what is The Life? How did that come about?
I mean, it came about. The true backstory behind it was we had like a brotherhood around my area. I'm from North Jersey, Essex County area, and we had a brotherhood. We pretty much fresh out of high school. We was partying and like quote unquote, to I mean a fun way to say it, like local celebs. We was popular, and it was a group of people from different. It was about 30 of us in total, but we all wasn't always together at the same time. But we just was like when you fresh out of high school. If you're not going straight to college, like you going to you having fun. I mean, you partying. You probably got a 9 to 5, but it was a bunch of us, and just having a good time. We threw parties. We had parties, and we all was popular in our own unique way. And fast forward, once it died down, everybody got older. I came like the second half of it. It already was going on because a group of people started it in like a different county of Jersey, but then it carried over to Essex County where I'm from, and I came the second end of it. And once it ended, like I seen something more out of it, especially when you look at like Love and Hip Hop. I used to watch stuff like that, and like there's no reason why us as a group shouldn't have our own reality show. Like we need our own reality TV show. That's how I thought. And then I just took it a step further. Like it was called Young Star, like YSL. So that was the abbreviation YSL. So I'm like, yo, the YSL, the life. And then I just started saying the life a lot. I started traveling, doing my own thing, and then just like every time I felt good in the moment, and that's what the life means. I used to say the life. Instagram just came up, so I used to hashtag the life. I'm like, you know what, like that sounds dope. Like that pertains to anything. There's no cap on what the life means. Really, you could really have your own definition for it.
Right.
That's the dope, unique thing about it. So I took it serious. I just started selling clothes and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing, man. Especially with having worked with you previously on your brand and seeing like the impact and where it came from, and where you're trying to take it. What services do you offer with The Life? I mean, it's a like a lifestyle brand, of course, and it embodies everything. But what distinguish your brand from the other lifestyle brands that are out there?
I mean, the most distinguishing thing, like I had an event. It was a networking event, and I was putting other people on in the midst of putting me on. You know what I'm saying? So when I had my merch, showcasing my merch, I had other vendors there showcasing their talents. So I'm gonna try to really stick to like when I do have my events, not only making it about me. And that's how you win friends and influence others,
Right.
So that's the most unique thing about the life, and that would get people to like to like talk about me more and gravitate towards me more.
Right. So why did you decide to do? Because the life that could have been, you could have gone into any category of products. Why did you decide to go into like apparel, like daily wear? Like what effect does that have in terms of the mental capacity? I'm asking because for me, when I was a kid, like I hated wearing clothes that had like any sort of stickers on them. Like the big names, Nike, Adidas, all of them. I just felt like a walking billboard. And
Hmm.
so as a kid, I remember saying like I have no relation to these people and no relation to this brand. And if I'm going to wear something, it has to be something that I create or have an impact or understand the brand and understand the story. So like, why did you decide to do apparels? It could have been any other. You could have gone into any other avenue.
I mean, honestly, apparel really not my it's not my target. It's
Mm,
why? Because when I relate it to me as a person, I don't care too much about clothes like other people do, like design and stuff like that. I'm
right.
not a stylist, so I always keep it simple, like white tees. I dress how I feel. I
Right.
dress comfortable. So when I relate it to like my brand, if I'm gonna create a brand, you base it around like you. So it's like the clothing was just to get the name out there.
Right.
That's why I stuck with like hats and stuff like that, and I didn't have too much apparel, but that's just to get the name out there. But more so focusing on building like a brand. That's why it's called like the Life brand. Like it's more so building a brand as a whole, like merchandise and like I have lighters, cups, things like that. So it's more so like selling like a vision.
Right. Right. I mean, it's really important that because I think like with the previous generation that that came before us was they were heavily influenced by hip hop, and then the basketball, you got the sneakerheads. Those are the major categories. And for me now, watching us trying to venture into these new opportunities, different avenues, and trial and error, and trying to figure it out, and creating like this study guide in a way for the generation after us to have these different options to choose from. I think that's the most important thing. That kind of goes beyond the whatever a piece of apparel or achievement or anything that we personally that will personally come to us because of what we're doing. Um, but as far as the life, and well, the life that's in the brand, and your life and some other things, and COVID now and all that other stuff, what is the biggest challenge that is in your life right now, as far as like an obstacle or something holding you back from going to the next level?
Um, I mean, I stated, like it's like I'm alone in this. I'm by myself. Everything I've done up to this point was off my work. So it's hard. Sometimes I tend to feel like I want to like a partner or somebody that like really what I'm doing and just want to be a part of it. But more so like not. My biggest challenge is not putting like work in like every day for my future, for the
Yes.
future of the brand. So sometimes I get complacent. I get like, I mean, I guess you could say comfortable, or I just like last year was like a tough year. The past year and a half since my event, I didn't do much, but that's the biggest challenge, like just putting in work every day. And even if it's just like a phone call, like, and I'm absorbing what I could from it and applying it later on.
Right.
I just have to do that every day, like the smallest thing, to help get me to that next step, or I can meet another designer or artist that I can use in the future.
Right, right, man. That's it's important that you said that, because for me, the one thing that that gives me anxiety, I'm a naturally calm person, You know, I don't really, you know, speak or, you know, I'm not really loud or whatever. Um, but the one thing that gets me, you know, antsy and anxiety is when I'm being complacent, um,
Yeah.
or you know, when I feel like I'm too comfortable, you know, um, and that's the tough part. Where like you know, for me, I've already you know tapped into my potential. You know, I know what could be. You know,
Yeah.
I know I'm just barely scratching the surface. So with that knowledge, personally, I'm like, you know, I can't be sitting around on, you know, all of this potential. You know, I got to go out, make it happen, and do the groundwork because you know no one is going to do it for me. And
Yeah,
it's
it's
good to
good.
see that you're in the same mindset.
It's good that you defined yourself. You know, I'm still defining that. Like honestly, the hard work for you is really done. Like you know what you want and you doing it. You know, just stick to the script now. You know.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like everything else is, you know, it's an end to means, but for me now, what I'm doing is, you know, taking me to where I want to be. It's not necessarily what I'm doing now. Is you know, is a passion project, as in, you know, I'm passionate about it. That's why I'm doing it. But it's not like you know something that it's gonna I'm gonna do for the next 70, 80 years, however long I'm around. But you know, it's something that's you know that's going to take me to the next level and then I'm going to you know maximize that and um, make that a bigger opportunity. um, at least you know that's the vision, that's the drive. But
Yeah.
you know for me I guess I'm trying to get to that place where when I wake up in the morning I don't have to you know lay in bed for 15 30 minutes figuring you know I just need you know 5 more minutes to get out of bed. You know I want the opportunity to you know kick me out of bed. You know I'm like yo I got you know I'm recording with you know my boy today. I got this and this going on. You know I got to be up. You know um, like when I wake up in the morning and I'm like and my body is like dude you got to stay in bed. You know I'm like that's for me that's one of the worst things. You know I just want to you know I just want to create and do and I've been trying to tap into that mindset and stay in that mindset. The hardest part is staying in that mindset because you can only, you know, tap into it for a certain amount of time, and then you know, natural obstacles and other things take its toll. But for me, and that's the goal, is to you know be in that place where it's you know I'm driven by my passion and my purpose, and you know, and the opportunities that are you know in front of me. Yeah, man. I think you know. I think it's great what you're doing, figuring it out. It's not a lot of people out there doing it. Shout out to you for you know being the guinea pigs in a way. You know,
And the
and
hardest part is doing, man. Just doing. That's it. You just gotta do. Just get shit done, man.
yeah. I mean, I think one of the main reasons why we kind of relate so much is um, you coming from a home, being raised in a home with a single mom with 3 kids. Um, is you know the same thing for me. Is you know for me it goes you know goes back to I'm not sure if you know this about me or you probably do know this already. I was born in Africa, came here you know at 9, and then you know living with you know my mom being you know head of the household and me having 3 other siblings, and me being the oldest, it feels like this weight of you know um, not really want to mess things up, and also trying to balance um, my ambitions versus doing the right thing because I know there are other people, you know, in my foot who are watching my footsteps and all of that. So like just to speak more to like your background and all of that, like what motivates you to you know to kind of go after this vision that you have for yourself as far as what you want in this life.
What motivates me is more so the fear of like being too complacent, man. The fear of like looking back. I just had a birthday, you know, in April, and it's like, yo,
Happy belated.
man. When you look back, it's like when you graduate from the time you graduate high school to now being an adult, and just like the time fly. Honestly, like when you were younger, and you're hearing it from adults, you don't want to hear it.
Right. Exactly.
Like when you were older, it's like you feel it firsthand. You see it, and it's like the fear, like 5 years from now, just when I'm about to have a baby, maybe, and about to be married, whatever, like, and it's like not feeling like I went hard,
Mm,
that motivates me, like the fear of that,
mm. Because the fear of regret basically pushes you. That's pretty interesting for me. I think I could relate a little bit to that with because for me at the end, regardless of where I'm at financially or whatever the case may be, it's just looking back and saying I've done everything I possibly could have done, um, with the opportunities I were given, and regardless of the outcome. And there's a lot of other fears of mine personally, as I've had to have gotten over the fear of fear of failure, and most importantly the fear of success. um what comes with being recognizable, and being known for your craft, and being known for your services, and what you do. And for me, the biggest thing was that I had to tackle on early on was, am I going to be able to handle this, um and then also realizing that if I am going to go through with this, my best option is for me to mentally, physically, and spiritually prepare myself for this opportunity. And because regardless of, in the end, it's going to be up to me to be my biggest critic, my biggest cheerleader, and the whole 9 yards. And like I said, like motivation for me comes with the fear of success and failure all mixed in, and that's what keeps me focused and keeps me going. And I think it's important that you are recognizing that in your own life, and having to reflect, because most people have this kind of internal reflection when they're 60s or 70s, and saying what did I do with my younger years. um but we're still young, we still got years. It's good to figure it out now, and relax in the future.
Yeah, man. At least we be doing something, At least we not I guess regular or normal per se. Just work, come home. Like I mean, we be making a name for ourselves. We building a legacy. It's about like when you die and somebody wrote a book about your life, do you think anybody will read it?
Mm.
And that's what. And I'm quoting Nas with that. I have to quote that,
Right.
but he said it like on the intro one of a song. Stillmatic, the album, and it's like, and it was asking himself like somebody was asking him if you die and they wrote a book about your life, do you think anybody will read it?
Right.
And that's
Right.
that's a good question. That's a great question. You want people to care. Like you want to make it pretty much making the difference. Making a
Yeah,
difference.
definitely. Yeah, we coming up on the age where kids are all video. They don't do books anymore, so it's a lot harder now. But with all of that, with knowing all of that, with the work that comes with the life that you've asked the universe for, and the opportunities and all that, like how are you preparing yourself for that journey? Do you have any mentors, any figures that inspire you?
Yeah, I mean, one of my mentors is my cousin. He's family. One of my older cousins. Throughout the years, ever since I've been older, to have like a older conversation with him, he just been like putting like certain batteries in my back, and like
Mm,
like behind, being on top of me about certain things, and it's not like he's like a big executive or nothing, but it's more so like his hustle. That's what motivates me. Like he's like got this go getter mentality. That's who I could think of as a mentor, and studying other people. Studying other maybe musicians I can relate to, or I can learn from.
mm. But speaking of learning from, are there like how long have you kind of been nurturing the brand? Like how many years have you put into the brand, the life brand so far?
Probably like when I went on my own, when I ventured on my own, probably like 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
Wow. That's that's something right there, man. That just kind of did something for me. Cause like
But I don't know, but it hasn't been consistent, so it's hard to like. It's not like I've been doing stuff like this for 5 years. You know?
5 years is still 5 years, man. You know,
Yeah.
it's still a commitment
So
to seeing something out and seeing an idea come to fruition, and then pushing that, you know, idea onto people and having them understand it, and buy into the story. Because for me, you know, like I'm also trying to, you know, do the brand thing and get into the apparel game at some point. Um, and for me, the most important thing is not wanting to rush that process of it, and let that story kind of unfolds, as you know, as I get better with my craft, as I get better networking and get better with, you know, the people in my circle, and tighten that up. And I've had requests from people saying, "Oh man, drop this, do this." But like I said, it's starting to stay like, you know, committed to my purpose and the goals that I've set for
yeah,
myself with my brand. And hearing you saying you've put in 5 years, and you know you're still, you know, pushing the brand and, you know, doing the littlest things every day, that's just, you know, gives me a huge appreciation for what you've been doing, in a perspective shift where I'm thinking, you know, if I'm really going to get into this, is, you know, am I willing to, you know, put 5 years into it and even more? Um, and I think that's some of the things that most people don't understand coming into trying to venture on their own, and being an entrepreneur. Because nowadays the two popular job titles are, you know, entrepreneur and influencer, and everybody wants to be one or two. Um, you know, it's like, you know, being a basketball player, a rapper in the '90s. You know, everybody wants to be the two nowadays. Um,
yeah.
and they don't really understand the level of commitment and the struggle that comes with, you know, the work that, you know, that you have to put in, the set amount of sacrifices that you have to give up, to get to that next level.
But to
Um,
add to that, like now with the COVID is teaching us, and then like 5, 10 years, the COVID, like people realizing they can do what they've been doing, they 9 to 5 from home. Like my lady been working from home, but like I ended mid-March when I lost my job, and she was like already a week and a half in. So she been working from home for almost 3 months. And it's like, you don't have to travel into the city. You're doing it from home already. So it's
right,
like, I feel like 5, 10 years from now, like you're really gonna have to have a small business. If you don't have a small business, like I'm not gonna say you're in the poor category, but you're not gonna be in the middle class. And
right,
the middle class is gonna be like, and especially where I live in this Philly, it's expensive as well. I've been around there, and I know it's expensive. Like everything's being gentrified pretty much. So especially where I'm at, you know, I'm by like North New Jersey. I mean, Prudential Center, the whole downtown area is just like it's different now. They building all these
right,
lofty style residential that nobody can really afford. You know, like studios starting at 16, like for a studio. You know, like
right.
that's just open space. So it's like you're gonna have to, like, 9 to 5 is not paying nobody that much. So
Nah,
you're gonna have to have your job and like your legit side hustle. I mean,
right, right.
5, 10 years from now.
50% of the U.S. population has a side hustle as of 2020, and you know that is whether, you know, it's, you know, freelancing, um, doing Uber, doing the delivery thing, whatever it is. People who have a 9 to 5 or have a regular day job, you know,
Yeah,
50% of the working population has a side hustle now, um, and that's crazy, you know. Um, and then, you know, the next step is turning that into you know, into a brand, and making that a full-time thing, turning that passion or side hustle into full-time.
to the point where I don't have to work no more. You know, I would love to just wake up and ship orders out and go to my warehouse and just check on my employees, and just go shoot down Philly because I got a interview with some negative broke, but yeah, man, that's the vision. That's the
Yeah,
vision.
man, it can all be attainable. It's a matter of being able to hold that mental picture in your head and having that mental capacity to go after it. Like a lot of things that came into play for me, especially with me running my own studio all of last year, and trying to get into being a professor in college. It's like it's like crazy stuff. Like graduated not even like I graduated not even like 6 months later. I was like, I want to teach in college. And that was a mission, and I went on that mission for about a year, and lots of no's, but I kept knocking, and I had the opportunity, waiting for the interview. Actually went in for the interview, didn't get the job that I went in for, and then I was offered a job for a different school year, which is like crazy. But I think that creating the opportunity for yourself within the hustle and making that a full time, I think that's a skill a lot of people are lacking. Is most people kind of turn around at the first no, turn back at the after the knock the first couple times and nothing happened. Sometimes they say if there's no opportunity, say opportunity knocks, but what happens when there's no door. You gotta build the door for the opportunity to knock, and that's the way I look at it. And for me, the one thing that I know internally that I'm good at personally is that I'm good at keeping my head down and just working it out, and however long it's gonna take me, it's gonna take me. But that's the one thing I know internally that I'm good at, and so I try to build a circle within whatever I'm trying to achieve, where like whatever I'm lacking, the people who are working with me have those skills, and that way we complement one another in terms of building something, and whether it's side hustling or just like a project or whatever. But it's just like that, that mindset. I think it's all mental, man. Because you just got to make a decision, and you got to be honest with yourself and go after it. There's no other way, really.
Right.
But yeah, man. So like with the brand, going back to the brand, in the end, what is the end goal for the brand?
My end goal is to become like a household name. It's to like be
well, like a George Foreman grill or something.
For people like know what the life is globally and know who is the creator and founder of that.
Right.
And it to just be a trend, everybody's just running around saying like the life, because I started that. That I guess campaign or whatever, like, because there's no better feeling than writing an idea down. And you can scale back 5 years ago when I started, just having a vision, getting that first hat made, getting that first product made, and then writing your plans down, and then applying them, and then like watching them unfold. So the end goal is just like to become known globally.
Right. Man, that's a big goal for sure. Just like envisioning all of that and understanding the amount of work that that's going to take. I commend you for trying to see out this vision of yours, and also to acknowledge you for being new and being real, and doing what you do, but also doing it from the stands of passion and love, and helping other people along the way, as you figure out your journey as well. Before we wrap things up, the story goes on, and there's so much more, and hopefully in the future we connect, and tap in on the brand and see where you're at in a couple months or a couple years from now. But before we wrap things up, so far on your journey, for the kids and other entrepreneurs out there who are watching and paying close attention or coming up in similar footsteps, what 3 lessons would you say is the most important lessons you've learned so far? Why on this journey of yours?
I learned, to really like stay true to yourself. Stay true to yourself. Stay true to your vision. Don't really care what nobody else say. Study the competition, but if it's all about studying the right competition, like people who's on the same wavelength for you, or you might end up clashing with friendly competition wise in the future, or you see yourself battling in the future. So stay true to yourself, and dedicate something each day. But just like I said, even if it's a phone call, or a networking call, that somebody might have put you on somebody that do websites, dedicate each day to something to your future with your brand. And lastly, stick to the script, stick to it.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. That's amazing. I think the dedication is the most important part for sure, because that define your consistency and helps you with longevity in the end. Staying dedicated is a very tough thing. But dude, I want to thank you for coming on the show, man. It's been amazing catching up and seeing what you've been up to and pushing the brand. And the purpose of the show is to highlight that we all don't have this figured out. We are just taking the knowledge and applying the experiences that came with the circumstance and obstacles that we had to go through as kids, and applying those lessons to what we are trying to achieve now, and it's a matter of trial and error, and trying to show people that you don't necessarily need to have everything figured out for you to be able to tell your story and continue to tell your story that's true to you.
I'm gonna remember that, man. I like that you said that. I'm gonna quote you on that, man. You don't have to have everything figured out. And maybe sometime, and it's funny because I be feeling like sometimes I do need to have stuff figured out in order to, but everything not perfect. That's why I watch interviews and podcasts, because I listen to their story. I'm just like, I'm not doing nothing no different from when they was, back then.
Exactly.
We only looking at their end goal and everything, when we look at the celebs and all that, but who knows what they had to do to get,
Exactly, man. We all got to do it, our own way. And, over the years, we're going to go, different paths and, go further and further away from each other. But, that initial bond and that understanding, I think is where, the respect is earned, where it's, I understand and I value what it is that you do. And I understand the hustle and the work and the commitment that came with you getting from point A to point B. And, I think that respect is, for me, it's what matters the most. When you get the head nod from your homies and, the people that actually do know you and interact with you, and they understand that, even though you've changed, you've still, stay true to who you are. And, you're just getting more and more authentic as your story gets bigger and bigger and reach more people, and your audience continue to grow.
Yeah, man, I agree, man.
And like I said, man, thanks again. I'm glad you're the first guest on the show. Hoping to have a lot more people on and, chatting with a lot more other amazing people like you and doing amazing things and figuring it out and trying to build one another up. Thanks for your time, man.
Appreciate it, man. We just created history, man, pretty much. Created history. It's good. It's healthy. It's a healthy conversation. Beyond both of our businesses. My brand and the podcast. It's just, it's good to have these
conversation. You feel me? I absorbed and grasped a lot of things out of it, you know, and it's all about, I mean, living and growing, you know.
Definitely.